Have you ever wondered what it truly means to vanish without a trace? Imagine stepping out of someone's life. No warning, no farewell, leaving behind nothing but a deafening silence. That act of disappearing isn't just an absence, it's a seismic shift that rattles the very core of those you leave behind. Today, we're not just talking about leaving. There are 11 raw, unfiltered emotions that echo in the wake of your departure. And here's the twist. Every feeling holds a hidden Stoic lesson about detachment, resilience, and the art of letting go. Prepare to challenge everything you think you know about relationships and personal growth. By the end of this journey, you might just discover that sometimes the most profound presence is felt in the power of silence. 1. Shock. When reality suddenly changes, disappearing from someone's life is akin to an unexpected power outage. One moment, your presence illuminates their world like a steady, reliable light. The next, darkness sweeps in, as if someone has flipped a switch. This abrupt vanishing act leaves them reeling, scrambling to make sense of the sudden void. It's not merely your absence that stuns them. It's the collapse of a carefully constructed reality, the shattering of the narrative they believed was unbreakable. According to Epictetus, suffering isn't born from events themselves, but from the judgments we impose on those events. The shock they experience isn't really about you disappearing. It's about the abrupt breach of their expectations. They had built a mental framework where your presence was a given, a constant pillar in their day-to-day lives. When that pillar is suddenly removed, it creates a disorienting gap that forces them to confront the impermanence of what they once thought was secure. This moment of shock, as painful as it is, carries with it a profound Stoic lesson. It reminds us that our distress stems not from what happens, but from how we interpret and react to it. In that unsettling silence following your departure, there is a hidden opportunity for introspection and growth, a chance to question the rigidity of our expectations, and to learn the liberating truth that nothing in life is truly permanent. Ultimately, this realization invites both the one who disappears and those left behind to embrace change with a steadier, more resilient heart. 2. Curiosity, the endless search for closure. They'll comb through every past conversation, every fleeting word, every subtle gesture, scrutinizing each detail in search of a hidden clue. Suddenly, every remark and every silence becomes a puzzle piece. Did you say something wrong? Was there a hidden meaning in your tone? Their mind becomes a relentless detective, racing to stitch together the fragments of a conversation that now feels incomplete. But here's where the wisdom of Stoicism steps in. Not every gap in understanding needs to be filled. As Seneca wisely observed, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. The intense, all-consuming curiosity often spins scenarios far worse than what actually occurred, transforming uncertainties into personal torment. Their quest for closure becomes an endless chase, a pursuit of answers that may not even exist. In this restless search, the Stoic lesson is clear. Sometimes, the only genuine closure comes from accepting what is, rather than being ensnared by what might have been. Embracing the mystery of your disappearance can be liberating. It teaches us that not all questions warrant an answer, and that the peace of mind often lies in surrendering to the unknown, rather than battling against it. Ultimately, this unyielding curiosity, though painful, offers a profound insight into our human desire for certainty. It reminds us that the journey to inner peace sometimes requires us to let go of the need to understand every detail, and instead, accept life's inherent ambiguities. 3. Anger. When ego takes over, soon enough, frustration boils over. How could you just leave like that? Why wasn't there a word, a warning, a goodbye? In their eyes, your disappearance isn't just an absence, it's a personal affront. Anger flares, not because of the loss itself, but because control has slipped right through their fingers. They had crafted a narrative in which everything made sense, where every action was justified and every word had meaning. Now that narrative is shattered, leaving them scrambling to reclaim their power over the story. In the heat of that fury, their ego takes center stage. They're not merely upset at the void you left. They're wrestling with the chaos of not being in charge of their own emotions. They expected the story to unfold in a certain way, with you as a constant, predictable character. When you vanish without explanation, it feels like the plot has been rewritten by someone else, by you, leaving them seething with indignation. Here's where Stoic wisdom offers a stark reminder. You are not responsible for their emotions, only for your actions. Let them be angry. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Their anger is theirs to own and to process. It's an external reaction, a reflection of their inner turmoil and the unmet expectations they held onto so tightly. This anger, as intense as it may be, teaches a profound lesson about the nature of control and the illusion of ownership over external events. Their fury is not a measure of your worth or a reflection of your actions. It's merely the storm that arises when expectations are defied. In embracing this Stoic perspective, you can detach from the burden of their emotional response and find strength in knowing that while you can shape your own path, you cannot and should not be held accountable for the chaos left in your wake. 4. Self-doubt. The mirror of reflection. As the anger subsides, a quieter, more insidious feeling takes its place. Self-doubt. In the void left behind, their inner voice becomes a relentless critic, whispering, "Was I not good enough? Did I do something wrong?" Each memory, every fleeting interaction, is scrutinized under an unforgiving microscope. They search desperately for a flaw, a mistake, a reason that could justify the sudden absence. This internal questioning turns their self-worth into a fragile mirror, reflecting doubts that seem magnified in the silence. But here's the deeper truth. Your disappearance isn't a verdict on their value. It's a stark reminder of the impermanence woven into the fabric of life. Just as the seasons change without apology, relationships ebb and flow, never meant to be everlasting. No one is entitled to a permanent presence in someone else's life. The void you leave behind speaks not of their inadequacies, but of a universal truth, that nothing, no matter how cherished, is meant to last unchanged. In this light, self-doubt transforms into a powerful lesson. It invites them to reassess not their worth, but the very nature of attachment and expectation. Embracing the transient beauty of life means accepting that loss is not a reflection of failure, but rather a part of the natural order. And in that acceptance, there lies the potential for growth, resilience, and a renewed understanding of self-worth, independent of external validation. 5. Anxiety, the fear of the unknown. When someone vanishes without a trace, it's like opening a door to a dark room filled with uncertainty. Humans are hardwired to crave certainty, a sense of security that comes from knowing what comes next. But when that familiar presence is suddenly removed, the mind is flooded with questions. Will they ever come back? Are they safe? Should I reach out and check on them? Each question amplifies the anxiety, stirring a restless fear that the unknown might hold something dreadful. In this swirling vortex of uncertainty, the true terror lies not in the possibility of something bad happening, but in the invitation it gives to sit with one's own thoughts that can be loud and unyielding. Without the distraction of a known routine or presence, the mind is forced to confront every possibility, every what if, and in doing so, it breeds a profound unease. Here is where the timeless wisdom of Stoicism meets the practice of mindfulness. Stoic philosophy teaches us that our suffering often comes not from the events themselves, but from our resistance to accepting what is. As mindfulness reminds us, clinging to the illusion of certainty only deepens our distress. When we resist the present moment, when we wish things were different rather than accepting them as they are, we invite anxiety to take root. The path to peace, then, lies in acceptance. The sooner one can acknowledge the unpredictable nature of life and embrace the uncertainty, the sooner that anxious energy begins to dissipate. It's a hard lesson, that comfort is found not in controlling every outcome, but in finding strength within the ebb and flow of life's inherent unpredictability. By surrendering to the present moment, they can transform anxiety into a powerful reminder of life's impermanence and ultimately discover a profound inner calm. 6. Regret. The weight of what could have been, regret creeps in like a shadow that never quite leaves. Replaying every mistake, every missed chance to alter the outcome. In the aftermath of someone's departure, the mind becomes a relentless time machine, rewinding to moments where a different word, a different action, might have changed everything. If only I had done this differently, they think, as if those fleeting seconds could have rewritten their fate. Yet, regret is nothing more than a prison built from the bricks of the past, a past that is immutable, unchangeable, and ultimately, out of our hands. The Stoic wisdom is clear. The past is beyond control. The only thing within our power is the present. Clinging to the what-ifs only keeps us anchored in a place where nothing can be mended, where no progress can be made. By living in the echo of what could have been, we deny ourselves the freedom to fully embrace the now. True liberation comes from accepting that every decision, every misstep, has led us to this very moment. A moment that offers infinite potential for growth and renewal. Let go of the heavy chains of regret and focus on the present, where your power truly lies. 7. Loss. When absence becomes reality, at some point the undeniable truth settles in. You're really gone. The once familiar presence is replaced by an overwhelming silence that speaks louder than any farewell ever could. This absence forces them to confront the stark reality that loss is an inherent part of life. It's painful, yes, but within that pain lies a crucial lesson in detachment. Nothing in this world is permanent. Not our relationships, not our possessions, not even our very lives. As Seneca reminds us, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. In the wake of loss, they come to understand that every goodbye, whether spoken or unspoken, is a reminder of life's fleeting nature. This realization, though harsh, teaches the liberating truth that clinging to permanence only deepens our suffering, and that learning to let go is the first step toward inner freedom. 8. Reflection. Turning pain into wisdom. Once the initial shock and raw hurt begin to fade, a quieter, more introspective phase takes over. In the silence that follows, they start to sift through the remnants of what was, asking themselves, what did this relationship truly teach me? What insights lie hidden within the heartache? The pain gradually transforms into a powerful tool for self-examination. Stoic philosophy posits that every loss carries with it a lesson, and every moment of suffering is an opportunity for growth. Through reflection, the turbulent emotions give way to wisdom. They begin to see that each experience, no matter how painful, has enriched their understanding of themselves and the impermanent nature of life. This reflective process builds resilience, fosters self-awareness, and ultimately paves the way for a more balanced, grounded approach to future relationships and challenges. 9. Resistance. The struggle to let go. Even as reflection brings clarity, a part of them may still resist the full acceptance of what has happened. There lingers a stubborn hope, a wish for your return, a clinging to what once was. This resistance, however, only serves to prolong their suffering. They hold on to the past in an attempt to regain control over an uncontrollable situation. Stoic wisdom teaches that true strength lies in accepting what is, rather than resisting what cannot be changed. When we fight against reality, we create an inner turmoil that hinders our ability to move forward. Embracing acceptance, as the Stoics advise, means acknowledging that the past is immutable and that our peace can only be found in the present moment. Letting go of resistance is not about forgetting or devaluing what was. It's about freeing oneself from the chains of what no longer serves us. 10. Liberation. Freedom from attachment. Then, as the realization of loss deepens, a subtle yet profound shift occurs. They begin to understand that their suffering was rooted in attachment, clinging to what was, and to the hope of its return. Liberation comes when they release this attachment, accepting that the only constant in life is change. In that moment of release, there's a palpable lightness, a freedom that emerges from letting go of the need to control every outcome. This is the ultimate Stoic breakthrough, recognizing that attachment is the source of much of our pain, and that detachment is the gateway to inner peace. Freed from the burdens of the past, they can now open themselves to new possibilities, unencumbered by regret or longing. Liberation is not a denial of what was, but rather an empowering embrace of what is and what might be. 11. Transformation, rising from the ashes. The final phase of this emotional journey is transformation, a rebirth forged in the crucible of loss and renewal. What initially felt like an unbearable absence evolves into the catalyst for profound personal growth. Your disappearance, once a source of pain, becomes the turning point that reshapes their perspective. The experiences of loss, reflection, and liberation converge to create a new, wiser version of themselves. As Marcus Aurelius so eloquently put it, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This newfound strength isn't about clinging to the past or dwelling on what was lost. It's about harnessing every lesson learned to build a resilient, forward-looking self. The transformation is a powerful reminder that every ending, no matter how painful, carries within it the seeds of a new beginning. Final thoughts. Why this matters. Disappearing from someone's life is more than just an act of leaving. It's an unveiling of the deep-seated attachments, vulnerabilities, and strengths that lie within. It forces both the one who vanishes and those left behind to confront their true emotions, challenging them to grow beyond the confines of expectation and fear. The Stoic truth here is both simple and profound. You are not responsible for how others react to your choices. You are only responsible for your own actions and the path you choose to follow. If you ever find yourself at a crossroads, where walking away seems to be the only way to preserve your peace and nurture your growth, do so with intention and wisdom. Recognize that sometimes, vanishing is not an act of abandonment, but a necessary step toward transformation. Embrace the lessons of impermanence. Let go of what no longer serves you, and open the door to a future filled with resilience, self-discovery, and boundless possibility. Share this message with those who may need to hear it, and remember, true strength lies in the courage to let go and the wisdom to start anew.